What is up, you guys? Welcome to the video. My name is Arman. Thanks for tuning in. If you're already a subscriber, you'll know that I'm a Toronto-based deep house and progressive house DJ and producer, and a lawyer by day, DJ by night. And based on the comments on my last video where I hinted that I had just gotten a brand new car, it seems there's a whole lot of car lovers out there as well. So here you go, my first ever car review video. And meet Cleo. She is my brand new 2018 Mercedes-Benz CLA 45 AMG. I'm quite excited about this. I've only had the car for a month so far. I've been a performance car lover my entire life, and I came from a relatively modest family. We had cars, but they were always A to B, get you there in one piece type of cars. So this is something that's a relatively major accomplishment in my life, is to be able to buy a performance car that I've had my eyes on for a few years. Now, the last time I actually owned a car, I only ever owned one other car. It was a Audi A4. It was a 2001. I bought it high mileage, around 200,000 kilometers, about 140,000 in miles. And that thing cost me an arm and a leg in repairs and maintenance. So a tip for anyone out there looking for a used car: do not buy a high mileage car. If it's four-wheel drive, it's turbocharged, it's a German car with lots of computerized and electronic systems, it's just going to give you a bunch of headaches. So a little bit about this car. It's a four-cylinder engine. Mercedes claims it to be the most powerful four-cylinder production engine ever released, and based on everything I've read online, it actually seems that that's true, and no one's found any evidence to disprove that claim. The engine produces 375 horsepower. It's got a twin scroll turbocharger. The engine makes 350 foot-pounds of torque, and like all AMG engines, it is hand-built by one AMG mechanic in Affalterbach, Germany. I'll show you the engine shortly once we do a walk around of the car. One of the things I love about this car is it's a relatively comfortable ride for daily driving. It's a little bit bumpy in the streets of Toronto, which have endured a horrible winter, and there's potholes everywhere, and it seems the city's doing nothing to fix those. But it's got two suspension modes. It's got two-way adjustable suspension, and in comfort mode it's not too rigid. In the AMG sports suspension, it hardly gives you any body roll in the turns. It doesn't handle like a Porsche Carrera, but it's pretty tight, and I'm pretty happy with the steering inputs. It pushes a little in the corner, maybe a little understeer, because it's four-wheel drive. It's a little bit front end heavy. About 60% of the car's weight is in the front. And the transmission is good as well. It doesn't come manual. I would have loved to buy this car in a manual, but it's got a speed shift Mercedes DCT dual clutch 7-speed transmission. It's pretty fast. In race mode, you get some nice crackles and pops from the engine when you upshift and downshift. A lot of fun to hear that. And just in terms of the way I ended up purchasing this car, by the way, I was trying to finance it. I was going to do a down payment plus a finance over a 4-year term. It turns out, after I crunched the numbers, that in fact it was cheaper to lease. So anyone looking for a new car out there, you've got to do the math and crunch the numbers, because you can sometimes catch a car manufacturer trying to pull a fast one on you. They were going to make about $2,000 more in interest costs over a 4-year term. So now I'm leasing, I'm saving that money, and I'm not committed to buy the car at the end of the term. I will have the flexibility if I want to lease a new car, although based on how much I love this car right now, I probably will buy it. All right, without further ado, let's take a little walk around of the car, and then I'll show you the interior and go through some of the features and packages that this particular car has. Beginning at the front of the car, you've got your Mercedes emblem there, which you can put your fingers through. It's not like the flush mounted glossy where the whole emblem is flush on some of the larger cars. Moving to the right, you have a nice little AMG badge in the front splitter, and then you'll see the LED strip front headlights, which is now a standard feature on all CLA 45 AMG cars. Mercedes is no longer charging you an extra cost for those headlights. Coming down here, you'll see a sensor for the front radar and a nice black satin gloss finish front lip. So moving to the side of the car, you'll see here a nice Turbo 4MATIC emblem. Of course, Mercedes four-wheel drive system. The folding mirrors are part of the premium package, and there's a mirror package that's part of that, which I'll discuss in a bit more detail in a bit. You do have turn signals on the mirrors, and you've also coming down to the wheels here, have a 19-inch upgraded on this car, 19-inch AMG mesh wheel. in matte black with a beautiful silver polished lip around the edge. And this car also has the red brake calipers with the AMG badge on them. These upgraded size of rims and the painted red brake calipers are part of the Amg Drivers Package. It's a $2,700 package, and it gives you these rims, the brake calipers, and a few other features that I'll speak about shortly. You do see the brakes have cross-drilled and slotted rotors on the brake discs, and you've got that on all four corners. Cross-drilled and vented brakes on the rear as well, although the rear rotors are slightly smaller in diameter, I think by about 1 or 2 inches. The tires are Continental Conti Sport rubber, and those are not all seasons, those are a performance tire, so I will be looking to get some winter tires coming up this fall. Now up top you'll see that the top of the roof is all black. In fact, it's black glass because of the panoramic sunroof. I'll show that to you in the tilted up position as well. And back here you have a pretty standard communications fin, also done in the gloss satin black finish, as is the window trim and the side skirt. So there is the panoramic sunroof in the open tilted up position, and this is the only sunroof the car has available, so you can't get a normal smaller conventional sunroof. And the sunroof, this panoramic sunroof, is part of the premium package. Again, I'll go through the features and the cost of the premium package shortly. And just while we're on the side of the car here, you also have these beautiful two-tone handles on the doors, chrome or polished silver and painted. Now this car has the keyless go feature, also part of the premium package, which means that you can get into the car without using a key or even taking it out and pressing the unlock on a remote key. So the way this works is once the car is locked, it also folds in your power mirrors. The car is locked, you simply put your hand behind the door handle and this will unlock the car. Now you can enter the car. When you want to lock it, you simply press there on your thumb in the recessed portion of the handle. Pretty nifty feature, and I appreciate that Mercedes has done this on all 4 of the door handles, on all 4 doors. They have not skimped out on that feature. Here's how the sunroof looks in the open position, and the panoramic sunroof basically is a piece of glass or plexiglass that comes back and extends all the way over to the communications antenna. We can't go back any further because of that. One other feature I found interesting is actually the fuel door. For a European car, I find this interesting that you don't actually have a release button inside the car, which I find convenient. This is a feature borrowed more from American cars, I believe, where as long as the car is unlocked, all you need to do is, okay, it helps if I unlock the car first. All you need to do is press on there and you're going to open up your fuel compartment. And this water drains out of there as I just got a car wash. Don't worry, it's not fuel. Coming to the rear of the car, you've got a little wind spoiler or lip there. This car does not have the Aerodynamics Package, which would put this lip into black, I believe, a black satin finish. So this lip is the same color as the car. I'm thinking about perhaps getting it wrapped either in the satin gloss black or maybe a carbon fiber finish. Let me know what you guys think. The Aerodynamics Package would also give you the 2 small little fins on the front of the car. I'll try and throw up a photo of that so everyone can see what it looks like. You've got your standard AMG badge back here, large dramatic rear LED headlights, and a beautiful satin gloss rear diffuser, one of my favorite parts of the rear end of the car. You can see also again the radar for parking sensors, and this car also has the night package, which is the reason that you have the gloss black finish on the side skirts, the front lip, and the rear diffuser here. And because it also has the Amg Drivers Package, you do have AMG Performance exhaust system, and as part of the night package, you can see the exhaust tips are blacked out also in the same finish. One complaint I do have is that on an AMG car, I don't think that customers should have to pay extra to have a performance exhaust system. You're obviously buying an AMG car for a reason, because you want a fast car that has a performance sound and a high performing car, so just give us the good exhaust system right off the bat. On the right side of the trunk you have the CLA 45 emblem or badge, and this car also has, as part of I believe the premium package, a really nifty and handy feature. It's a open trunk feature where you just simply put your foot, I'll see if I can capture this here, you put your foot under you kick your foot under there, and there's a sensor, and that opens up the trunk. So here's the trunk. Hopefully it's not too dark to see, but pretty sizable trunk space. I've been pleased with this. I've gone on a couple of weekend trips already. I've had 2 suitcases in there and a couple duffel bags, and the seats do fully go down. There's a pass-through you can see there in the middle seat, but as I say, you can put down the entire seats as well if you're moving something larger like skis, snowboards, or bikes or what have you. One of my favorite things about this car is actually the exhaust note. It's got the AMG Performance exhaust system, and it really gives you a raspy, mean, kind of high-pitched growl. Even at idle, the car has a little bit of a throaty growl. You can hear it when she's purring. So when you rev or when you upshift or downshift with that AMG speed shift transmission in race mode, it gives you some nice crackles and pops. I'll fire her up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we are in the engine bay of the CLA 45 AMG. As I mentioned, it's a 4-liter turbocharged engine making 375 horsepower. It's got a twin scroll turbocharger, which is nestled right about down in there. Beautiful AMG engine block with a carbon fiber pattern, and with all AMG engines, the name, the signature of the mechanic in Affalterbach, Germany, who built this engine, appears to be a Jan Kluge, is inscribed. So thank you, Mr. Kluge, for building this engine for me. And otherwise, pretty standard looking engine bay. So for the interior of the car, we'll begin with the rear seat, and we won't spend too much time on this because obviously due to the dramatic sloping roof lines of this car, this is not really a car you buy to have that functional or practical of a back seat. Certainly if you've got a tall family or if you've got tall friends, I would not recommend getting this car if you want to do lots of trips with lots of people, 4 or 5 people in the car. However, if you're like me and you just occasionally have a few friends back here and maybe a dog or something like that, then it's totally fine. It's maybe a glorified cargo area, but it's not quite as bad as, say, a coupe, an actual 2-door coupe. And I just like the look of this car having 4 doors. But of course, Mercedes has classified this car as being in its coupe or coupe line. So in terms of the finish of the interior, it's a mixture of black leather and Alcantara, with very nice black and red leather stitching throughout the doors. Doors and dashboard, I should say, when I show you the front of the car. You have a nice AMG badge or emblem floor mats here, and you can see that there's a spotlight under the seat. You do have climate control in the back, although all you can do is aim and open and close the vents. The passengers do not actually get, or the rear passengers do not get their own separate controls in terms of temperature, so they are stuck with whatever the driver selects. So this is one difference, between some of Mercedes' larger or more luxurious vehicles. You do have a handy little fold out here, armrest for your passengers in the back if there's only 1 or 2 of them, with fold out or pop out cup holders. You do have 2 of them, 1 each for each passenger. The rear passengers do get their own rear lighting with individual lighting controls for both sides, which is nice. There is a red seatbelt option. This car was from the lot or from the dealer. I didn't get to actually customize it and spec it out every which way that I wanted. If I was able to, I would have taken the red seatbelts, but for $500, it's an expensive upgrade, but the red seatbelts do look pretty nice. One complaint I've heard other CLA owners make is that the middle seatbelt is left black when you have that option. So Mercedes will give you 4 red seatbelts and 1 black one, but the reason being is that they figured the red one looks like a funny red stripe down the middle of the rear seat. So I think the jury is out on that one, and different people have their different opinions on that. And coming to the driver's door, the door panel or door rocker does have a nice AMG badge in a brushed silver type of finish. Now this one does not illuminate There is an illuminated door sill option. However, it's part of a rather pricey package, which is a $6,500 AMG Performance Studio package. One other point on the doors, you'll see power seats. That's standard for all CLA 45 AMGs, as well as 3 memory positions, which is fantastic. That's a standard feature. You do not have to pay anything extra to get that. All right, so we're inside of the car now, and you can see the first thing is this really fun, playful, sporty AMG red and black theme, and AMG design trim, this is called. These AMG graphics and beautiful carbon fiber inlay in the dash with, again, black and red leather, red stitching on black leather. Up here, it's called the Artco Dynamica color theme. And one of the obvious things here in this car is, in the interior, is this screen. All of the reviews have identified this as the biggest flaw in the car's interior, and I tend to agree. I'm not too beat up about it. You get used to it, but it does look like a bit of an afterthought, like an iPad was just stuck onto the dash as an afterthought. So since 2014, this car has had the screen in this location, and I think everyone would like to see Mercedes come out with an integrated screen built into the dash, more akin to what you get in a Audi or a BMW. Down here you have a shifter with a, gear selector rather, with a nice Falterbach logo on it, which is like a spring and a piston and a tree. I guess the two AMG brothers were nature lovers as well as car lovers. And you have the selection there for individual custom mode, which you can create your own profile for the car, or comfort mode, sport plus, or race mode. And then you have the joystick to control the infotainment center, and you have 2 pretty standard cup holders and pretty decent cargo space inside of here. So now let's talk about some of the actual features, and let us start up the car. So you can see the gauges do a nice little test flourish for you. And what I really love is you have analog traditional gauges here, as opposed to on a lot of the new Mercedes, you just have a digital screen across this entire area. And plenty of other car manufacturers are doing that these days too. We have analog everything, fuel, temperature, tachometer with a nice, and speedometer with nice carbon fiber inlay. And to get the best of both worlds, you do have a screen in the middle. Now this screen is quite versatile. I really like this AMG screen. When you toggle over to it, you see it comes up as the AMG screen. This is giving you your temperatures, but the great thing about this is that when the car starts and it's cold, those will be blue. So they only turn white once they're up to safe operating temperatures, and then you know it's safe to drive the car harder, put it in race mode, and actually the car will not let you do a launch control race start, where the car revs to 3,500 and then pins you in your seat as you let go of the brake. It just launches you. They will not let you do that until the car is up to safe operating temperatures. So pretty clever thinking there on Mercedes' part. And you've got a bunch of other screens that are useful here to go through. You can control pretty much almost everything through here, although it's just easier, of course, to navigate with these controls or with this joystick. But you can, from the steering wheel, use these joysticks and the OK and back button. And then, of course, telephone control is there as well. That's pretty useful. I definitely use those. There's your paddle shifters. They are nice brushed aluminum with a beautiful action to them. The way they click, they don't have any play or wiggle, so I'm really pleased with those. Coming back up here, you do have active brake assist, attention assist. The car builds a profile on you from the time it's been turned on in terms of your driving and steering inputs. And if you're getting tired, what will tend to happen is you'll shake the steering wheel to make quick adjustments if you drift out of your lane, right? The car knows this, and it will actually beep at you, and it will put up a funny cup of coffee right here on this screen, and it says, take a break. So really amazing safety features that are probably saving lives. So kudos to Mercedes for developing that technology. You also have blind spot assist in the mirrors. You can see the yellow caution triangle there. When a car is right next to me, it'll turn red. And those are auto dimming mirrors, as well as the mirror up here is also auto dimming. So that's very useful at night. And you can see these 3 buttons are for the programmable garage door opener. Unfortunately, I can't use those because I live in a condominium building. And the mirrors, as you saw before, will fold in. Here is the sunroof from what you can see inside the car. And just getting back to the screens then, you've also got your traditional phone control, compass, tripometer and odometer. You can get to a nice large digital speedometer as well, which is there in case you're going to be doing some fast driving and you don't want to take your eyes off the road very long. That's useful. And you've got some other, you actually have a lap function even too for race mode, and of course range for your fuel. And when you're in manual mode, a little M pops up over here on the screen and it shows you what gear you're in, and it even suggests to you when it's time to upshift or downshift, but it will not do it for you in race mode. When you're in manual mode, you select manual mode by pressing this button in here. One thing, see then it comes up with an M over there. One thing that would have been nice would have been if this button would illuminate as well when it was turned on at night, but not a huge deal. I can live with it. You got a little ashtray 12-volt area here. You can throw your change, or in my case my garage door opener. Climate control, dual zone, which is part of the premium package. And then I'll just take you through these buttons over here. You have 3 modes for heated seats, so low, medium, and high on both passenger and driver seats. Driver being over here, pretty standard. ESP or traction control, that's the AMG Sport suspension setting on the 2-way adjustable suspension. Turn that off. Actually, I'm sorry. That's the suspension. This is the traction control over here, which has 2 modes. Then you have your flashers, and you have the automatic engine turn off function, which I don't really like. A lot of new cars have this, and it's supposed to save you fuel when you're at a red light by turning off the engine. And I find it just a bit annoying, and I did talk to some Mercedes representatives about that, who actually told me it really doesn't save that much fuel. It's pretty negligible, and if anything, you're putting more wear and tear on the engine by starting and stopping it, so I prefer to turn that off. I think it's really just more of a feel-good feature, if you will. This is a convenient feature. You can turn off the radar for the parking sensors, so the car doesn't beep at you when you're going through a car wash or something like that, if it's getting too annoying. And this is a button I always have on. It's to make the exhaust baffles open, make the exhaust note louder. Although I've got to say, it's a bit of a loud car anyway. I really don't notice a big difference or any difference, so I just keep it on all the time. And of course you have telephone and radio. I won't spend any time on that. So here's the screen where you can see the Apple CarPlay interface. Mercedes has its own software too. If you don't use the Apple CarPlay, it's still pretty good. It still has voice command to make phone calls. It has map navigation. That's also voice activated and voice controlled. If you want to tell the car where to go, enter your destination, it will do that for you. But Apple CarPlay, if you have it, I would recommend using it because it's a really great interface. And this joystick down here that controls it, it moves up, down, side to side, as well as of course spinning and clicking in. So it gives you like a lot of versatility. It's almost as useful as a computer mouse. Once you get a little used to it, you can hit the back button there to go back, and you can just scroll through these apps. Like there's your phone, music, which accesses your playlists from your iPhone, maps, text messages, even WhatsApp and podcasts. And on this page over here is Spotify, right? So it's a pretty good system. The only catch is that your cell phone does need to be plugged in with a cord for that feature to be active. Above the screen up here on the dash, you'll see the radar sensors. There's lights that come on when you're close to an object, amber lights, and if you get too close, the last ones at the edges are red. And the rear radar sensor is located in a way that when you look in your rear view mirror, you can see it back there, so you don't have to turn your head around to see the sensors and how close you're getting to an object as you're backing up. And of course, you can also just use the reverse camera. I'll show you the quality of that by putting the car into reverse. There you go. There is a boat behind me, and you have typical graphics and steering inputs when you turn the wheel. You can see that, as with most cars. So this is what the Mercedes built-in software looks like if you're not using Apple CarPlay. Still a pretty handy software. You've got your media areas, radio, AM, FM radio, free XM satellite radio trial for 6 months. I probably won't keep that. Vehicle settings. You can control the ambient lighting in the cockpit from here. This car has beautiful ambient lighting that shows up in the door handles there, under the headrests, on the floor, and also even in the cup holder. And you can actually select from like 5 or 6 colors. So I've got mine set to purple. But when the car is parked, it actually cycles through all of the colors like a rainbow sequence. So that's kind of unique. And the different car modes. You can also, when you change from race mode from comfort mode into sport mode, or race, sport plus, or what have you, you can see it shows you the graphic of the car and the different functions being changed on here, whether you're having the ESP in sport mode, the suspension in sport mode, and so on and so forth. So just in terms of the features that this car does have, in terms of the packages, it's got the premium package that gives you the blind spot assist, the panoramic sunroof, the dual zone climate control down here. So I guess without this package you just get a single zone or a normal climate control system. That's a bit surprising to me on a Mercedes. You also get this 8-inch color display. I think it's a bit bigger than the stock one, might be like 6 inches. You get the foot activated trunk opening feature I showed you at the exterior of the car, the keyless go feature, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So that's a $4,200 package, and it's definitely a good one if you want that kind of technology. And then there's also the Premium Plus package this car has, which is a $2,100 package that gives you this integrated garage door opener, the active parking assist, the auto dimming mirrors, and the power folding side mirrors. And also, this is very important for me as a musician and DJ, Harman Kardon Logic 7 sound system, which is really nice, crisp, strong bass. Couldn't be happier with the sound system, and as you can imagine, as a DJ, that was something that was absolutely critical for me. And then lastly is the Amg Drivers Package, which is what I described at the exterior of the car. It's a $2,700 package. Gives you this black and red Aerodynamics theme on the steering wheel. Gives you the AMG Ride Control Sport suspension, and the AMG exhaust system, and the red brake calipers. So the other packages that are available are the AMG Track Package. That's $3,400, and it's got that would include the raised top speed, AMG limited slip front differential, and then there's also the AMG Night Package I described. That's $750. And there's also the AMG Aerodynamics Package that this car does not have. That's another $1,250 package. And then, as I say, there's this AMG Performance Studio package that gives raised top speed and tire pressure monitoring system. I'm pretty sure my car doesn't have that package, but I do seem to have the electronic tire pressure monitoring, so not quite sure what happened there. But all told, with all the options, this car came in around $70,000, including HST and PDI, freight and PDI, and all of those usual dealer add-ons. So there you have it with the interior and an overview of the packages. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. That is my initial review on the Mercedes 2018 CLA 45 AMG. I hope it's been educational for those people out there who are thinking of buying one, or perhaps are just interested in perhaps getting a Mercedes, any model of Mercedes or AMG line Mercedes. Stay tuned for future videos. I'm going to try and get a GoPro video, show you the launch control and a bit of driving footage. So until the next video, hit subscribe, watch out for my DJ tutorials, and stay tuned.